Hi everybody, John Wright, Director of Public Relations for Hardin County Schools, and welcome to another edition of HCS Matters. And we're hanging out at James T. Alton Middle School, and by the end of the show we're going to be at Vine Grove Elementary. And we're talking to students who participate in our gifted and talented programs across the district. And these GT programs really help our students who may be excelling in the classroom really excel even more. And so we just appreciate all the work our GT teachers do, and Michelle Doty, who is coordinator of our GT program at the district level. You met Ms. Doty a couple of months ago when she interviewed, did a segment with our chief academic officer, Mr. Greg Sutton. And so we're hanging out today at James T. Alton. So we're going to be talking to probably about six or eight GT students at James T. Alton, and have the privilege of hanging out with these guys to my right here. And guys, if you would just say your name real quick.
I'm Liam Lentz.
I'm Santi Marcioni.
Okay, so when you talk, guys, make sure you're holding the microphone. So tell me your name again.
My name's Liam Lentz.
Lamb. All right. So tell me about your GT experience. What grade are you in, first of all?
Seventh.
Seventh grade. Okay. So tell me about your GT experience, not only this year but in years past.
I've kind of been in GT my entire life,
okay.
And it just helps me to strive to be better in my everyday life, and it helps me get into classes that fit me better.
So what are you when you're GT in a certain subject area? Is that right? Mm-hmm. So what's your subject area?
Everything almost.
Every
subject.
Okay. And hand it to and remind me of your name again.
Santi Marcioni.
Okay. So talk about your GT experience.
It's been really fun.
So what are some things that you do? What are some things you guys do in your GT class? And then we'll ask him the same.
Just do like advanced learning.
Okay.
Because like Lego robotics.
Okay. What else?
We do coding, like controlling the robot and stuff.
Okay. So how will coding, do you think, help you as you move on? You're in seventh grade as well, yeah. Correct? So how will coding and those things kind of help you as you proceed into high school? And
could give me a career path, help me get to colleges and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's ask you the same thing. So what are some things you're doing in GT?
We're like reading higher level books and doing high level activities on it. Okay. And then I also did Lego robotics, so the coding stuff. Okay. And we're learning about more mature topics like the Holocaust and stuff like that. Okay.
So something maybe some students who aren't in GT would probably be learning about. You're in seventh grade, will maybe be learning about it maybe at a ninth grade level or eighth or ninth grade level. Mm-hmm. So how will this give you a heads up or a leg up, I guess, as you proceed through your academic career?
Reading at a higher level can help me to understand questions better, and to just and socially as well, like just being able to read emotions and being just looking out for things carefully. Okay.
What about math? GT and math as well?
Yeah. I'm in the 9th grade algebra class.
Really?
Yeah. So we're doing like high level math, and it's definitely way more tricky, but it's giving me a challenge that I need.
Mm-hmm. So. Now, do you have a period of a day that's just GT work?
My first period, yeah. Okay. And then my 5th is math.
Okay. So what do you do in that first period class?
Well, that's where we're reading the Holocaust book.
Okay.
We're doing activities on it and learning to better understand it.
Okay.
And like the lives that they went through.
Gotcha. All right. So you guys will be ready, more than ready, to enter high school at North Hardin here in just a year, because here we are at the end of your 7th grade year. Can you believe it? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? All right. So we're going to talk to a couple more students. We'll be right back. All right, so now we've switched from those guys to 3 young ladies who are going to talk about their GT experiences. And so if you would, guys, just take the microphone, say your name, and then pass it on down the row there.
My name's Izzy Dale. I'm in 7th grade.
Okay.
I'm Madeline Knapp, and I'm in 7th grade.
Okay.
I'm Lillian Pollock, and I'm in 7th grade.
Awesome. So guys, talk about Elena, is that right?
Lillian.
Say it again. Lillian.
Lillian.
Lillian, I'm sorry, Lillian. Talk about your GT experience since you've got the microphone there.
I've been in GT for a little while, and I didn't get a GT class this year, but when I was in a GT class, we did a lot of activities that you wouldn't typically learn in regular classes.
Regular classroom, right.
And we do, we learn a lot of different subjects, and we do different things that are fun and educating at the same time.
Okay, good deal. Pass it on to Madeline there. Madeline, talk about your GT experience.
So I think GT has really just not just helped me academically, but as a person too, because I'm interacting with kids and classmates on my level, and it's really just a good experience to be able to just interact with them and learn with them and learn new things and just watch each other grow, especially from last year to this year even.
Sure.
We've all learned so much, and we've grown as close friends, and it's been a really cool community.
Awesome. Izzy, what about your GT experience?
GT, I've been in GT for a little while now, quite a few years. GT, it's just a whole different way of learning. It's a lot more hands-on. Like last year in one of our teachers' class, I think it was second trimester, we did an engineering project with insulating this medicine to make it through this rainforest to make sure it stays cold for this tribe. That was just whole different way that you would think about something. It wasn't just a bunch of calculations. Do you think this would work? We tested it out.
Okay.
And it's just a different way of learning, and I think it can be very helpful for these GT students who think a little differently.
Right. So you guys are so we know you're at a higher level academically. Do you feel that? So think back to your childhood. I know you're still a child in my eyes, but you're growing up fast in yours. But think about to your childhood. What are some things maybe that your parents did to ensure that you were at this level? I mean, did they start reading to you at an early age? Did you go to the library often? What are some things that you did early, or that your parents kind of helped grow your foundation, your educational foundation?
I don't know if I really had that. Yes, my mom, she read to me and stuff. She did all that, but we didn't really realize I was GT until about 3rd grade when one of my friends was over and we were doing homework, and my mom was saying how either I'm really ahead or she's kind of behind.
Okay. What about you, Madeline?
So obviously the reading and just doing problems, because I'm the oldest child, so it was just kind of let's see how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would practice different things, and I got really into doing stuff with shapes, which I'm not now, but I got into doing math and just wanting to do that. I would do that in my free time. I was just very fascinated with it, and so since I was so fascinated with it, they would take me to different places. They would try to help me understand it and try to just grow my knowledge to
Gotcha.
the capacity.
Gotcha. What about you, Lillian?
My mom would read to me, and she would teach me things, and she when I before I was in a little bit before I went in school, she would start to teach me how to read, and she would read me higher level books like Harry Potter and such.
Okay.
And I would do a whole bunch of different activities in school that it would be higher level than the rest of my classmates. And I would be reading at higher levels than everybody, and it was and when I was in 5th grade, I thought I was kind of not it was the same as everybody else, but then I found out that I was in GT and I was actually a bit
Did
smarter.
all three of you guys go to preschool of some sort? Yeah, so that laid that is really the foundation of learning. Those preschool, kindergarten are solid foundations. So that's why I think what probably everybody here has in common is you got that at an early age. So talk about, you guys are participating in a program. Just talk about that program, either one of you guys. I think Izzy's pretty excited, or go ahead, Madeline. Yeah.
So as far as dance workshops, You don't necessarily have to be ahead academically to be able to go to a dance workshop. It's mainly for everybody who is gifted in the arts,
Okay.
like dance, or just ahead and are willing to try something new. So I think the dance workshops are just they're really fun. They're a way to experience new things. I've been to the PAC before. I've done ballet, but this was really cool to see other people trying something that I enjoy and do weekly at my ballet classes.
Okay. All right. What about you, Madeline?
So I do modern dance, and I'll be moving up to the dance class next year. And I first found my love for it at a PAC workshop for it. We were doing some moves, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I really was like, I would like to do that. And so I started the beginner classes this year, and I'll be moving up to the higher level next year. But I really found my love for dance and acting and performing at those workshops.
Awesome. Lillian?
I've been doing a lot of artistic things like gymnastics, and
Okay.
I did a little dance when I was a little, and when my mom told me about the dance workshops, I was really excited because I loved to dance, and it's a great thing for people who love dance and that may not be able to do it on after school or when they have during for their free time. So it's really nice and fun to do when it's open to do it.
Right. And so you guys you all have probably spent a lot of time at the Performing Arts Center, right?
Yes.
So I know I'm going off subject, but just talk about how critical the Performing Arts Center is to our district, and how that's really kind of given you opportunities to flourish.
So the PAC or the Performing Arts Center in Hardin County is really a really good base, because no matter who you are, how old you are, whatever you're into, there's always going to be something for you there.
Gotcha.
There's always going to be a show that you're going to appreciate. And for me personally, looking out into the crowd and seeing people laugh or smile, or even some little kids dancing to some of our songs, and it just brings everyone together. It doesn't matter who you are. It's a very unjudgmental place, because, I mean, look at us. We're danced as lions running across the stage. It just brings everyone together, and there's no judgment in that space. It's just a safe space for the whole community to thrive.
Awesome. Well, you guys go ahead. Were you going to say something, Izzy?
The PAC is not a very judgmental place. Neither is our studio. I don't think many studios in the area are. I know the PAC, it's always really fun to be backstage and then just in between shows talking to your friends about did you see how this person did so good in this part? Yeah. Or we messed up on this part, but we made it work.
Sure.
And then I know there's no really there's not much shame on who you are in the dance, awesome. Especially at our theater. I know we have signs up saying, don't judge your body, no matter who you are, you can still dance.
That's great.
And it's just a very including and welcoming place.
Awesome. And all because of your GT work. That's great. That's great. So now these three ladies have been awesome. We're going to talk to two more gentlemen before we make our way across the way to Vine Grove Elementary. All right, so we're hanging out with two additional GT students here at James T. Alton Middle School. And tell me your name, please.
My name is Carson Fowler, and I'm in 6th grade.
All right, Carson, hand the microphone over.
My name is Brandon Hornback, and I'm also in 6th grade.
All right, Brandon. So either one of you guys, just talk about your gift and talent experience and what's made it flourish. You're probably been a GT all this time, right? So just talk about that experience.
Over the years, even when I couldn't walk, I was a bit more intelligent than most other kids my age. I learned how to walk faster, I learned how to talk faster, and whenever it got around to where I was in school, I was recognized as being gifted immediately.
Yeah.
I was put into before there's GT, there's a little program for the kids who are also intelligent, and I was put into that immediately. And over the years, I'm still in it, and I feel like it's really built on my character and who I am and my maturity levels.
Awesome. All right, Carson, what are your thoughts on your GT experience so far?
So kind of the same as him. I've always been I actually don't know how smart I've always been. I can't remember much from when I was a baby.
Okay.
But I remember that I learned how to talk faster than most babies, but I had a problem like with my legs, so I learned to walk slower than most people.
Okay.
And I got put into the gifted and talented pool. I think that's what it was called in first grade.
Okay.
And I mean, it's just helped me out a lot because with some classes, I learned some of the stuff really fast, and it was kind of too easy almost.
Gotcha. Do you, with your non-GT curriculum or before you were kind of identified in this way, did you find yourself almost bored? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that.
So like, whenever it came to math and even in like kindergarten, I learned how to count faster than most people. It's not that hard to do, but
Sure. I see what you're saying.
like I only learned to count to 100 in like a week.
Gotcha.
And then in first grade, I learned kind of like second to third grade level addition.
Sure. Okay. Brandon, talk about. I can tell you're going to be a strong leader just by the way you carry yourself. I've picked that up on you. Talk about your leadership skills and how GT has kind of helped mold those leadership skills in you.
I've always been, this kind of sounds narcissistic, but I've always perceived myself as somewhat of a leader. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, the first year I was on the academic team, I was already quick recall team captain.
Awesome.
And I feel like GT has really helped with my leadership because it makes me feel more confident in my education and my intelligence to where I can push myself further because it's become a good extra of my personality.
Yeah.
And it really does help develop leadership because in like curriculum, like on grade level curriculum, I can help people who need help with maybe notes or a question they don't understand, and it'll make me feel good about myself.
Awesome. If you had to pick a career today, what would you pick?
Well, I'd have to say a mechanical engineer.
Okay. Yeah.
It's runs in my family, and
Okay.
I feel like I'm pretty good at math, so.
Awesome. Carson, what would you pick?
I mean, I've always been thinking about careers. The first thing that stood out to me a lot was like I really like computers.
Okay.
So I picked like an IT tech or a computer engineer
Yeah.
because I mean, like I said, computers have always stood out to me. I've always found them really interesting.
Awesome. Well, these are two great guys, Brandon and Carson. They're going to do great things because of the GT program here in Hardin County Schools. Now we're going to head across the way to Vine Grove Elementary and see what's going on in the GT program there. So we've made our way to Vine Grove Elementary. Miss Jamie Blank is the gifted and talented teacher here at Vine Grove. And Jamie, just talk about these kids are exploring so much more than they would in quote-unquote the ordinary classroom. Talk about what GT does and the benefits, just the raw benefits of GT.
I'm definitely very passionate about this.
Right.
So when they come into the classroom, we try really hard in GT to give them opportunities to be creative.
Sure.
And to have choice and rigor, but to do things that they maybe can't get their hands on in the regular classroom. For example, these robots. They start out building the robots with a partner, and we're so grateful to Hardin County Schools because we've gotten to add to the number of robots that we have. But they start out building, and once they've constructed the robots, hey girls, can I see a robot? Let me see your little robot. So they build their robots, and they look like this, and they have different motors. And thanks, girls. Once the robot's completed, they use our programming to start training the robot to do mazes, and they have to give it different commands. And they can make these robots, go forward, turn left, turn right, go backwards. But then it's also really cool. They have light sensors, so you can program the robot to do something when you show it a red block or a green block, and you can have it do sounds. And so it's just things that they get to do that really aren't feasible in the regular classroom, and it's just a really, really cool opportunity for them.
obviously when a student comes to you, I mean, we've identified them as GT. Talk about the differences you see at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year.
Okay. A lot of times, I'm so fortunate. I get to have a lot of the students. We kind of start identifying in kindergarten. And I'm very fortunate to get to have them for years and years. So oftentimes when they come to me, they're not really exactly sure why they get to.
Sure.
And so there's some education about just giftedness in general and what that means for each child. And so they come to me, and each year we have different activities to do. So they start learning in our room, like it's okay to make mistakes and take risks. And a lot of times for gifted kids, they're perfectionists and they don't want to take risks or try new things. And so we try to create a safe environment for them, just so they know, like in this room, we all mess up and that's how we grow. And so by the time they get to 5th grade, we have a very special relationship.
Sure.
And I get to hear about things outside of school, but also things in school. I get to see their minds grow, but I get to see them grow as a person. And by the time they're in 5th grade, they have a better understanding of what it means to be gifted and how that reaches out and touches all the areas of their life.
Are they more relaxed?
They are. And we'll mess up and laugh about it, you know, or maybe somebody's coming in and a lot of times with gifted kids, they have real big emotions or intensities. And so we get to kind of deal with that in class, and it's just a great opportunity for them to have a place to be comfortable and be themselves.
Do you see a common denominator among those students as like they all had some sort of preschool, or I mean, what kind of common denominators do you see with GT kids, or are there any?
I'm not really sure. It's very fascinating to me. You have kids that come from all walks of life.
Right.
A lot of times we have kids come in and we start seeing glimpses of it, but it really hasn't been cultivated or nurtured yet.
Okay.
And so we have the opportunity to do that. Or you may have some kids who come in and they've had all kinds of experiences. They already have a high vocabulary.
Gotcha.
Things like that. Some kids, it's happening and it just hasn't been cultivated. And so we get the opportunity to kind of bring that out in them, and that's exciting.
Awesome. Well, we're going to hang out. We're going to just hang out with some kids and just watch them work, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
All right. It's a great place to be.
Thanks.
Yeah, in Jamie Blank's classroom. So we're just kind of walk around and talk to some students. What's the concept here? What are you guys working on?
We have to put the like little blocks. We have to put those to make the robot move a certain way to go through the maze without crossing the tape.
Okay.
So we're just kind of like experimenting and seeing what it is right now because I don't really know. I've never done this before.
Gotcha. So are you kind of programming it? Is that what it is?
Sir.
Okay. Awesome. So what are some other things you guys do with Miss Blank?
She has like day camps that are really fun where we like go to her house and we do like a bunch of outdoor stuff. We go on hikes a bunch of times and it's like really fun. We just had one like last weekend and earlier this year we did like this thing where we were acting as people who we like. I was a civil rights activist. I was Rosa Parks, and I was just like acting as if I was her and like answering questions like about her.
Awesome. So GT has done you a lot of good. Sounds like both you guys, right? Yeah. Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys. So tell me about what you guys are doing with Michigan here.
We're just trying to do this maze. We
just
are
a couple rotations off. 2 more rotations.
we're really close. It's just not getting. It's turning at a little of an angle and it's going a little too far up. So trying to fix that.
Okay, so you guys got to get it to work directly. I mean, it has to be exactly right. Is that right?
Yeah, or it's not gonna stay in the position that you want and get inside the square zone.
Okay. So once you master that, is Miss Blank gonna make a different maze?
I think we get to go to a different one. I think.
Oh, okay. So you'll go from that maze to another maze.
I think so.
And then you'll have to reprogram it all, right? All right. So talk about what GT does for you guys and how excited you are to come to GT class every day. Here, take the microphone. You haven't talked yet. Talk about what GT does for you.
It allows me to get out of math KSI. It allows me to do stuff that I actually like instead of having to do stuff that is confusing and get a piece of candy at the end.
Okay, well, that's the best part.
Yeah.
So talk about what's going on here. You guys have mastered your maze, is that right?
So yes, we just finished doing all of correcting the code, so that would be exactly enough forward on the first stretch, and then in the right amount of turn angle, and then in so that it went far enough on that end. So now we've got all of the coding on it, so that it should go. And we just tested it. It went through the maze perfectly.
Awesome. So after you get done with this one, I'm sure Miss Blank is
she's
not.
having us do another.
I was going to say she's not done with you. She's going to keep challenging you, right?
As soon as one of them is done with their maze, then we'll move to that maze and find the coding for that one.
There's an empty maze right over there.
There's an empty maze. Okay. So you've seen all the mazes. Which one is the most challenging?
We haven't gone through the other ones yet. This is the first. This is still our first one.
Oh, this is our first one.
But it only took. But based off the fact that this one definitely looks like the longest and hardest one. Well, it doesn't look like the hardest one, but it's definitely the longest one.
Gotcha.
So, and based off of how quickly we got this one finished, the other ones probably are going to be close to the same amount of ease. The other ones, though they're shorter, have more twists and turns and stuff. So you have to do more of the turning blocks, that kind of thing.
Right.
Can I talk now?
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Yeah. What were you gonna say?
So do you want to know how we got?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So basically, first we started out with just playing around with the different mechanics, and we figured out how far the rotations go, and then we tested it out a couple of times, which led to our.
Awesome. Ms. Blank says you're passionate about GT. Why is that?
Well, I really like reading, and there's a lot of reading here.
Right.
Also, I like that we don't typically do the same things you do in a classroom. You actually get to interact with the different stuff that is laid out for you to interact with.
Right.
And it's not as, mainly being a parrot, mimicking what other teachers have told you, but you actually get to learn from your own experitions and build on that.
So what are you guys looking forward to the most about middle school and continuing GT in middle school?
Probably that GT will be have more stuff, more things in it that we get to do, longer periods, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like GT, from what I've heard, is like almost a proper period. In
middle school,
rather than just 30 minutes like it is here.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you for your time. All right, appreciate you guys. All right. So as you can tell, GT is a great program. These young men are doing well in it. They're excelling. It's because we're pushing them. It's because our district is pushing them. And thanks to great teachers like Ms. Blank, they're doing great jobs, and they're going to be ready for middle school, high school, and even beyond. These guys are probably going to be millionaires one day because of what they're doing. That's right. And when they are millionaires, don't forget the great teachers like Ms. Blank. Have a great day. Thanks for watching HCS Matters.